Stop scrolling because there's a video making the rounds right now that you absolutely have to see. Prague, March 2026. The ISU Skating Awards banquet the night after the World Championships wrap up. The dance floor is packed wall to wall with the finest figure skaters alive. And right in the thick of it, Ilia Malinin is losing himself in the music. One hand raised, eyes shut, completely free. And standing just inches away from him is a girl, not dancing, not really. She's simply watching him, fixed on his face like the rest of the room has ceased to exist. The TikTok caption read, "Wherever Ilia goes, she follows." That single post racked up over 7,000 views, and the comments exploded. Because fans have been quietly tracking this connection building for months. The Cat Cafe in Milan, the matching 8th place finishes, the Instagram comments, the red carpet photo nobody requested, yet both of them uploaded anyway. And now this a video where she's not even attempting to conceal it. Her name is Lee Hayan. She's 20 years old, one of the most gifted women's figure skaters on the planet. And the question burning through every fan forum right now is devastatingly straightforward. What exactly is happening between these two? But to truly grasp why this moment carries so much weight, you first have to understand who Ilia Malinin really is. And I promise you, by the time this video wraps, every single piece of this puzzle, the cafe, the banquet, that look on her face is going to click perfectly into place. So let's rewind. Ilia Malinin is 21 years old, raised in Virginia, but for him, skating was never a hobby or a choice. It was the oxygen inside his childhood home. Both of his parents are Olympic-level figure skaters, not recreational competitors, not coaches, actual Olympians. His mother, Tatiana Malinina, captured the Grand Prix final title back in 1999. His father competed at the Olympic stage as well. Ilia didn't simply grow up near the sport. He grew up embedded inside it, surrounded by two people who knew precisely what greatness demands of you. He first laced up skates at 6 years old, and then, in September 2022, he permanently altered the sport's landscape. At a Challenger Series competition in Lake Placid, Ilia Malinin landed a quadruple axel, a jump requiring 4.5 full rotations in the air, touching down cleanly on a single blade. No human being had ever executed it in competition. Not once in the entire recorded history of figure skating until this 17-year-old from Virginia pulled it off like it was just another Tuesday. Tara Lipinski, the 1,998 Olympic gold medalist, openly admitted she never expected to witness it in her lifetime. He gave himself a name after that, the Quad God. Nobody on Earth pushed back. But here's where the story takes a sharp, complicated turn. In 2022, before any of this glory materialized, Malinin placed second at US Nationals' second place, which should have been his ticket straight to Beijing, to the Olympics, to the dream he'd been building since childhood. It wasn't. The selection committee cut him from the Olympic roster. He didn't go to Beijing. He sat at home and watched other skaters step onto the stage that was supposed to be his. He's spoken about it publicly. Said that rejection didn't shatter him, it ignited him. If it wasn't for that, he said, I don't think I'd be here. So he came back. And he came back with an absolute fury. From 2023 forward, Malinin didn't merely win, he made competition feel almost academic. 4 consecutive US national titles, 3 straight Grand Prix finals, back-to-back World Championships in 2024 and 2025. At the 2025 Worlds in Boston, he became the first skater in history to land all 6 varieties of quadruple jumps within a single program. The ISU had to manufacture an entirely new award specifically for him, the Trailblazer on Ice, the first of its kind in the sport's existence. His victory margins sometimes stretched to 50 points. His rivals stopped chasing first place. They competed for second. That's not drama, that's just the math. By the time the 2026 Milan Olympics arrived, Ilia Malinin wasn't merely the favorite. He was the entire narrative. Nathan Chen was seated in the arena watching. So was Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in human history, who showed up to observe figure skating specifically because of this 21-year-old from Virginia. And then February 13th happened. He entered the free skate carrying a 5-point lead. His rival Kagayama had already skated and wasn't flawless. This was supposed to be the coronation. He landed his opening jump cleanly, and then everything unraveled at once. The quad axel, the jump that made him a legend, the jump that rewrote history, he popped it. Instead of 4.5 rotations, he got 1. The arena went quiet in a way that wasn't really silence. It was collective confusion. Then the quad loop became a double. Then he fell. Then he fell again. By the time the music ceased, he had surrendered 72 points to errors. He finished 8th. The man who'd been winning by 50 points. The man who invented a jump no one else can replicate. 14 consecutive victories gone. Over 2 years unbeaten dissolved in a single 4-minute program. He skated off the ice and buried his face in his hands. But here's what happened next, and this matters more than the score. When the results appeared, he didn't retreat. He didn't vanish. He walked directly to Mail Shaurov, the Kazakhstani skater who had just claimed gold, and embraced him, genuinely, without a moment's hesitation. The International Fair Play Committee noticed. They nominated Malinin for a Fair Play Award specifically for that instant. When he addressed reporters, he was brutally, disarmingly honest. "I blew it. No excuses." He acknowledged that the pressure of being the Olympic favorite had overwhelmed him in ways he hadn't anticipated. All the media attention, all the expectations, it simply became too heavy to carry. Days later, he posted on Instagram not about rankings or redemption. He shared a video cutting between his victory celebrations and footage of him sitting with his head in his hands, and he wrote, "On the world's biggest stage, those who appear the strongest may still be fighting invisible battles on the inside." The skating community went completely still because this was Ilia Malinin, 21 years old, who had just endured the most public collapse in his sport's recent memory, and he was choosing radical honesty over damage control. Then he went to Prague for the 2026 World Championships and won for the 3rd consecutive year. He obliterated the field, reaffirming precisely why he'd gone 2 full years without tasting a single defeat. The Olympic collapse didn't define him. He returned within weeks and reclaimed the top of the world. But that wasn't Prague's defining story. The defining story was who he kept appearing beside. This is where Lee Hayan fully enters the frame, and this is where the timeline becomes genuinely fascinating. Lee Hayan is 20 years old, South Korean, a world championship medalist, a 4 continents champion, and the face of Korean women's figure skating in the era following Yoona Kim. She is not a peripheral character in this sport. She's a genuine force, and she and Ilia have been circling each other's orbit for more than 2 years. The 2024 World Championships banquet photographed together, the 2025 ISU Skating Awards Gala photographed together again. But nobody thought much of it at the time. Elite skaters socialize. That's simply how the sport operates. Then Milan arrived and changed everything. During the Olympics, photographs began circulating of Ilia at a local cat cafe in the city, not alone, but with Lee Hayan. And here's the detail that made fans completely lose their composure. At the 2026 Milan Olympics in the women's singles competition, Lee Hayan also finished 8th. Same placement, same Olympics, same heartbreak. 2 of the most gifted young skaters on earth, both projected to medal, both landing in 8th place. Fans immediately coined a term for them, the 8th place soulmates. Then came the Instagram behavior, the kind that's genuinely impossible to misread. They were engaging with every single post the other shared. Heart emojis, rapid replies. The type of digital closeness that's difficult to manufacture and even harder to disguise. When Ilia posted a photograph of himself holding his Olympic team gold medal in Milan, Lee Hayan responded with 3 words. The brightest star. 3 words. That was all it took for the internet to erupt. Fast forward to Prague, March 2026. After Ilia claims his 3rd world title, the ISU year-end awards banquet unfolds. On the red carpet, both of them share the same photograph together on Instagram. No caption, no explanation, just the 2 of them dressed up and standing close. In the arena of elite athletics, where every post is deliberate and every public appearance carries consequence, a joint Instagram upload is never incidental. It's a decision. Fans immediately interpreted it for exactly what it resembled, a formal announcement. And then that evening at the banquet, someone captured it on film. Ilia, dancing with his hand raised, relaxed and radiant, 21 years old, and finally permitted to be 21. And Lee Hayan right beside him, watching him, smiling softly. Wherever Ilia goes, she follows. 7,000 likes on that single TikTok, hundreds of comments. Korean media ran with it. American media ran with it. Newsweek published a headline. Sports Illustrated published a headline. One Korean outlet reported the 2 had fallen for each other inside the Olympic Village. And here's the honest reality of where things stand. Ilia has never confirmed anything. In a recent interview, he actually described himself as single. Lee Hayan hasn't uttered a public word either. So what is genuinely occurring here? Is it a relationship? Is it a deep friendship the internet is projecting meaning onto? Or is it something more nuanced, 2 exceptional young athletes discovering real connection inside a world where almost no one else can comprehend the specific, relentless pressure they navigate every single day? He hasn't said. She hasn't said. But here's what we can say with certainty. Ilia Malinin is not reckless. He didn't accidentally become the most dominant skater in history. He doesn't act without intention. So, when he shares a photo with zero caption and zero explanation, he understands precisely what he's communicating. And when she stands beside him on a dance floor in Prague and never looks away, she understands it too. And perhaps that's the most compelling dimension of this entire story. After a year saturated with performance, pressure, and public scrutiny, after collapsing on the grandest stage in the world and then rising within weeks to win a global championship, after openly confessing his invisible battles to the world, maybe this photo, this banquet, this girl watching him on a dance floor in Prague, maybe it's simply Ilia Malinin doing something he rarely permits himself. Being human, being 21, letting someone in. So here's what I want from you. Do you believe something real is unfolding between them, or is the internet dramatically overanalyzing a dance floor and a handful of Instagram comments? Drop your take below. The best one gets pinned. If this video delivered, a like costs you 2 seconds. Subscribe if you want the full story every time something like this surfaces, because with Ilia Malinin, the narrative is never finished. The Quad God is only just getting started.